So, we're here for another Tuesday morning talk. I have my special guest, Denise Zepeda, and Darren Agcaoili. How do you say your last name?
Agcaoili.
Oh, damn.
I thought it for 2 years. For 2 years, I finally learned
Agcaoili. I'd say hi. It's Darren Agcaoili, very nice guy. And today's topic is investing in relationships, and it's something that I found to be very useful and necessary in trying to build organizations and trying to build something with no money, right? So this is the part where you get people bought in on the same dreams, and if you get bought in on the same dreams, then you can push towards the same goals. Now, I want to start with what we just talked about on the telephone, right? And this is a line. First of all these talks are about entrepreneurship. All of them about entrepreneurship, right? So what did you say to me when I asked you, or when I told you about, what the hell I said? I said, oh, yeah, I invest in these relationships and I expect something in return. And you said,
what did I say?
You said, oh, well
Well,
I have a different take.
I mean, sometimes you don't, I don't typically do things for people expecting something in return all the time. Now, but he made a distinction that in business, it has to kind of be like that. I was just generalizing.
Yeah, but we're not being general here. We're talking about straight entrepreneurship. So, for you people out there that's on that bullshit, all right, understand that we're talking about entrepreneurship and you being able to pay your bills when the first of the month roll around, right? Because this is serious. And you know what? I heard this plenty, especially in our industry. People say, I don't care about the money. They say that shit all the time.
Well,
until they can't fucking pay their bills, right? No, the same ones that's always saying that are the same ones that can't pay their bills, right? So at some point, we need to deal with reality. The reality is we need to make enough money to sustain ourselves and take care of our families and stuff like that. So if I'm going down the street with somebody not giving them something, you don't have to see me when I'm giving somebody something, doing something. I don't need to tell you, But like if I'm going to invest in a relationship, in a business, I should expect to get something back for the amount of time that I put into that relationship. And you two people who are taking over this particular place, I feel like it's important for me to drive these points home for you, because the key word is investment. And when you go invest and you go get a Fidelity account, you go get Coinbase, you go get anything, they're gonna tell you that it's a risk with investment, right? And it feels bad when you invest in people and you don't get anything back in return, right? When I met you, what did you have to give me when I first met you?
Nothing.
All right, I mean, this is all I'm gonna say is everybody that I meet at the door, me and Neil, we sticklers for this because we done met all type of people and they all be telling us what they're gonna do for us. You don't know what anybody can do for you until they actually in here doing it. Right. It's just a bunch of promises. So we have to go in the blind and trust that whatever energy we putting into you, that at some point we're gonna be able to get a return. And a lot of times the person that's sitting on the other side of the table, they don't pay attention to the fact that we have to pay money, time. It's an actual tab running on what it takes to get you guys up and running. And if we don't finish, then we just lose, right? And it makes you feel some type of way, especially emotionally, when you put time into people, because as you know, I emotionally put time into people. And I don't necessarily expect a dollar sign back. What I'm expecting is that we both share the same goals and we're trying to get to the same place. And sometimes I could pass it off to you, sometimes I could pass it off to you, and then sometimes y'all can pass it off to me. Like when we made this change with you guys' positions and shit like that, I was paying attention. And I did not want to wear you out. I wanted to give you everything I said I was gonna give you. But also didn't want you to fucking fall off. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to pay attention to all this shit, right? Like you really do, right? Or what's the flip side of that, man? Which I done made that mistake. you know, I did a little bit too much and I didn't pay attention as well and I couldn't hold on to people, right? So now it's time for you guys to start building and investing in these relationships. And as you build and start to invest in these relationships, you're not always going to be successful, unfortunately.
Like our interns, right?
Yeah, you're not going to always be successful, man, you know, and it should make you feel some type of way when you're not. Quite honestly, if you care about what you're doing, it should make you feel some type of way. It should make you want to do better.
Well, you should learn.
But look, better doesn't just mean that you screwed up, right? Because they could have been shitty. But even if they shitty, you need to do a better job at picking that part, right? So pretty much it's always your fault.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucked up though, but it's the truth, right? It's always your fault.
Yeah.
If you are a fucking decision maker, it's always your fault.
Even if it's not.
Even if it's not. If you
It's
make
still on
a decision to
you.
put somebody
It's still
in
on
the
you.
position, it's your fault. And you know, and the reason why I say that is the only way you can maintain control and keep your hands on the steering wheel.
That makes sense. So it's always Mallory's fault.
It's always my fault. It is. It's always my fault. And I'm going to take that because if you come out here and you go outside and beat somebody's ass, I'm like, oh, Darren just got a suit. I know I shouldn't fucking hire that hot head. You know, I shouldn't put that hot head in charge. You know,
That's why you told me to watch out when that break-in at my house. You're like, don't do nothing stupid.
No, but I can't say that. I'm sure.
Just take off your body mechanics stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, sometimes we do stupid shit. But,
Yeah.
Anyway, bottom line is, it's not like I'm warning you, but I'm basically telling you that if you have more successes than not, then you fucking win.
Yeah.
Right? And you gotta take some of this stuff, it comes, right? I will tell you that everyone that I chose to work with, they were solid people that never did scandalous shit. All them people moved on to like do great things. All of them, right? Because they had that quality about them. They had a quality about them, like a Rory. You know what I'm saying? He went out and like the man came to me when it was time for him to start his gym. The man was talking to me, rubbing, doing his hands like this. I'm like, oh man, what's going on, man? He got me right in the middle of the gym floor. Oh man, I'm going to start my own studio. I'm like, oh man, I already knew.
Yeah.
I already knew what it was because he was that type, but he didn't do nothing scandalous on the way out the door. He didn't do, like a lot of these other dudes, they do scandalous shit. They don't pay their bills, they leave you hanging, you know, it's like open up across the street. You know, I'm just like, man, I'm like, come on, man, like, nothing, no respect, nothing. Hey, all those people, yeah, pretty much all of them, except 2 or 3 exceptions, they probably got deals with the devil, you know what I'm saying? They all like in the same spot because the quality that they have is they burn people, right? And they do it all the time. They can find ways to make it all right in their head that they're not doing something wrong. That's one thing all of them had in common. They can find a way to be like, this is the reason why I'm stealing your clients. This is the reason why I'm doing this. No. You're just making up shit, right? And you know what? You burnt your whole everybody that you run into. And because you burnt everybody, you stay in the same spot and you can't build. So this leads to the next thing. When you are building all these fucking people that basically many use, you are actually creating real social influence. Not no fake ass Instagram shit, you know. I got 100,000, like the dude that came to see me at Embarcadero, had 100,000 followers, pulled up to the Embarcadero with a donut on his wheel and all beat up. I'm like, man, I don't want that. I don't want that. I prefer to be productive, you know, and make a living for myself. You know, health swole, you know. I was like, man, that's crazy. This is the reason why I didn't want to do social media for all the years. Because it was him and a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
They had a lot of followers and no money. And I was like, you guys spend a lot of time on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, and you fake it. I'm sitting here looking at you in real life. You know, I don't see why y'all doing this. But, yeah, hey, that's what was going on. but I understand that it's something that needs to happen right now. But the main thing is, we had social influence before we had the internet, right? People went out and kissed babies, shake hands, buy people dinner, make alliances. This shit is important, right? So for you too, when you start developing these other people, I don't want you to get discouraged when it does not work out, right? Because all of it's not gonna work out, and people are just people. You just need to do a good job at figuring out who is who at the beginning, right? And if they're questionable, no, don't be desperate. Sit them down. You can use the same shit for dating, you know what I'm saying? Just don't tell, it looks sort of good, she already acting crazy, but you're gonna do it anyway. Okay. Oh, your car tire slashed. Okay. Yeah. She sort of told you already. You've seen her eyes, you know what I'm saying? Or in your case, maybe crazy dude. Leading by example. Yeah, I think that you have to do that to get people to have a good relationship and lead by example. So when you're not here, people are still feeding off of that, right? Because you don't want to, I don't like micromanaging people. First of all, we in fitness. We're not accountants, you know what I'm saying? Like, I try to tell people, people need to feel good at work. I mean, we relinquish some other things that other people get to feel good at work. And if you're not feeling good at work, then why don't you just go work a regular job and get a little bit less money and a little bit more stability, right? I mean, because in order to have stability in this, you need to have some God-given traits as well, right? And everybody don't have those. So everybody can't come and do this for work and have the same stability that I have. I recognize that. I'm like, man, everybody can't do this. No. Everybody can't do this. Everybody don't have the right personality. Everybody don't have the right smell, you know what I'm saying? Man, you smell pretty bad, man. I don't want to be around you all day, I just don't know. But tell me what you had to say about Mr. Rory.
Oh, Rory. So my baby mama, Rochelle.
You still be calling
that? Sometimes.
Okay.
So my partner,
just joking. That's a good joke.
When she was training during her pregnancy, she was at a gym. I can say the gym, right?
Yeah.
New Balance. And she was telling her trainer that I started at a new gym, which was body mechanics, and some guy, he was training someone, and he overheard that, and he goes, "Body mechanics? I used to work there." And he started talking about Mallory to her, and he was just speaking so highly of him and said, "Oh, I used to work at that gym. I went off and did my own thing." And she just came back. She didn't tell me the whole story.
Yeah.
But that made me feel better because I was only working for this company for about a month. And other gyms that I've worked at, it just felt like I was being used and, I wasn't being respected.
Well, I think ultimately the human resource is always going to be used. It's something there to be used, but it's like, do you use or utilize? Right? Maybe that's the word I should use, utilize, right? Because I'm like, man, we gotta come to work and we need to do things in an organized way so we accomplish complicated tasks, right? Just like all this stuff that we're trying to do. It's like a complicated football play, Like everybody needs to be in the right place at the right time. But because we need to feel good about it, we all need to do that pretty much like we need to want to do it, right? So that's what I try to do. I try to get you guys to want to do these things. And this is where the investment of the relationship comes in, right? So, I mean, for me to say, hey, man, I'm going to spend a certain amount of hours with you, certain amount of hours with you, I'm going to do this with you, I'm going to do this with you, so we can be like vibing. Because the more we do it, the closer our vibe is. And when we're vibing on the same page, you can finish my sentence, right? And that's all I be trying to tell some of these other managers, man. I'm like, man, you can't get people to do all this stuff for you. Sometimes I get people to do shit for free. They do it for free, right? No money. And it's hard to follow up with me if I got you doing shit for free and, it ain't actually free. The payoff is the goal. And it's because I sat down with you and I listened to what you had to say. And I listened to your dreams. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like what I want, right? this far along the path to that dream. You this far along the path to that dream. I could pull you along the way. Could you push me? This is when I'm saying this shit to people all the goddamn time. And it sounds good to a lot of people. But just because it sounds good to a lot of people don't mean that everybody got what it takes to actually make that shit happen. So this is the pitfall, and I'm telling you guys to watch out for it. Don't let it hurt your feelings when you lose one here and there. You know, typically, you know, when I had them for a long time and they leave, that's typically when I go back, I'll like remodel the gym or I do something new, change some system. Yeah, because I'm like, I done gave you too much of my game. You know what I'm saying? So it's time for me to change it. Maybe I need to change it anyway, right? But this is, especially if they was like high level, right? Because, you know, I've been able to go out and get some, depending on how I feel, when I'm feeling really good, I've been able to go out and get some high level people. That's how we ended up with all those places, because I was able to get people who are almost at my level, right? That's pretty close to being at my level, right? And I'm like, okay, I wasn't getting like the entry, like, no, man, I don't want that dude, you know?
So how are you doing that without like social media back then? Like
Man, just me, what you know, shit, I pull up, you know? I straight pull up, go, you know? When Jim like took dudes straight from their job, like, man, what's up?
Just word of mouth, like, what?
Yeah, you know, all that, right? And I had like a nice gym in Oakland with like 1,100 square foot office overlooking the gym. I had, you know, and I was set up to be doing all these talks, right? But I put myself in that position, and then as I was going along the path, I was bringing people along with me who were participating in this, right? I mean, this is all like real stuff, man. Like, you gotta create. I mean, I know you guys grew up in the era of social media, maybe her more than you know, but
I still went outside and touched grass.
yeah. It's something to be said about going out, making real contacts and connections, and looking to the people who following behind you. And I don't mean directly following behind you, but they might be years behind where you're at in your current position, and helping them along the way, right? I helped so many people along the way, and some of them are ungrateful. That's too bad for them, because you know what? Like I told you, all the ungrateful ones, it might be like 50 or 60 ungrateful motherfuckers, and maybe only 2 of them successful, or 2 of them doing something bigger than whatever the hell they was doing. Yeah. They just wanted to just be, that's just how they are. And that ain't my bad, it ain't they bad, right? That's just how they are, right? And it wasn't a good fit for this particular thing, and I just told myself, dude, when you go, you need to do a better job at picking. You need to ask more questions. You need to figure this out, because you don't want to waste too much of your time on the wrong people, but you do understand that you have to invest some time in some people and invest some time in some relationships to make the complicated tasks happen. Or you just pay, right? If you got the money to just pay for everything, you can just pay. But I'm trying to tell you that other people can pay too. So it's gonna come down to the relationship. You know, I mean, if we was working together and you was getting $1 million from me and we had a great relationship, but then somebody came along and tried to give you $1.2 million, but they want to treat you like a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? You gonna take the $1.2 million? If you do, I made a bad choice, because you a piece of shit. You know, I'd be like, I ain't giving my dignity away for no fucking $200,000. I'm not gonna do it. But some people will. Some people sell their ass for anything, you know? All I'm saying is, I should know who these people are, and I should have some devices in place to help me ascertain who's who. And I mean, I don't have all the answers right now. I don't, but I'm gonna share with you what I do have. And then you guys might come up with something. That's why I was telling Terrell the other day. I said, man, you know, like Terrell got me into crypto. You know, no. I'm just saying though, this is somebody that I brought along the way. We building wealth together, right? This is how I look at it, right? At one point, you're not doing none of this stuff, but at another point, you learn enough stuff that you go off in your direction, you bring some stuff back to the table. Man, if I got 100,000 people, I mean 1,000 people that I have influence with, and you got 200, you got 200, then we got 1,400 people of influence. You see what I'm saying? This shit is important. I see it like that. And other people see it like in social media terms, But I'm like, I was doing this shit before social media, right? Like literally when I left the streets, because I'm in the streets, I wasn't networking. I didn't like none of them motherfuckers. I was like, I don't like none of you motherfuckers. Too much shit was going on. I'll shoot you in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up. But once I got around people that's acting nice and appreciative of me and whatnot, I was like this. You know, I was embracing it, and I was like, for a minute, I was like, hold on, I need to slow down. Because everybody not good, you know? Some of these people not even doing it on purpose. It's not even on purpose. They just, however they grew up, or whatever, they selfish or whatever, you know, I got to be the number one person in the room all the time. All right, cool. I could play my role. You can go ask anybody that I work with. When I was working for other people, I played my position. Simple as that. I played my position, you know, until it was time for me not to play my position, you know. But I wasn't sitting there bucking when it was my turn to play that position. I played, you know. You want to play first base coach? Okay, cool. Second base coach? All right, cool. I got that. Like, yeah, you're a good player. Like, yeah, man, whatever you say, coach, you know. Because I knew my day was coming. And I didn't have to stab nobody in the back or do no scandalous stuff. And, you know, those of you out there that work with me and you did scandalous stuff, I ain't going to say your name. But, you know, but, you know, some of you dudes, you just, you know, I know that it's just weakness in character. I don't think it's even malicious, because you soft, right? You fucking soft, man, and I get it, you know? I mean, because if you was different, the two people that screwed me and went on to do bigger shit, they was ruthless. The rest of them was soft. They all this shit, you know? So we looking at like personality types and what you get. Because you could be ruthless and fuck people over and make money too. But, you know, you usually come to some type of demise at some point, right? With everything else. But the rest of those people were just weak people with weak character. And they did weak things because they got themselves in positions where it was going to cost them time, money, or pain. And they elected to not have integrity. That was their choice, not to have integrity. You know, so for you, if you're gonna have integrity and you're dealing with people who might fold under pressure, then you know you're gonna be the one standing there handing, you know, you're gonna, it don't feel good when you're that person and you go, damn man, I invested 2 years in this person and then, you know, now they're like a piece of shit, right? So just know, I mean, you get it right.
Of course I do.
Okay, I'm just checking because you know what I'm saying. I mean, and what you think?
Oh, I get it, yeah.
All right,
For
well,
sure.
I mean, I don't want you guys to come into this with your eyes closed, you know? I want you to be successful, and I want, when I come in here and I see you guys, I want you to be smiling like I was smiling for the first 5 or 6 years. First 5 or 6 years was bliss, you know? Till we got to about 11 spots and shit like that, then it started getting crazy, you know? I had different people wanting, you know? And like, oh man, it's crazy, man. And you know, I didn't have enough mechanisms in place to keep everybody in line, right? And I learned all this stuff, right? So the second time around, it's gonna be different, right? Just the fact that I'm sitting here talking to you about this particular piece, how not to fall into my pitfalls, right? These were my pitfalls, right? And the reason why I changed these talks is because Kevin was at my house, and we was in LA, and you know, phone calls kept coming in, and I'm doing these, I'm talking, walking around all animated, oh man, you know, wow, and telling people from all over the country all type of shit about this shit. It's like, man, fuck this script, man. We need to just do this. Just have talks,
yeah,
right? Because I do this shit all the time, and I've been doing it all the time, like for free. Just doing it for free, like free game. Man, yeah, I mean, and it's usually from my mistakes.
yeah.
I guess I ain't even embarrassed to say it, but yeah, it's usually from my fuck ups. But you know, my fuck ups have not taken me under, so they didn't kill me. You know what I'm saying? They only make me stronger. You
Because
know,
you learn from that.
I learned from all of them. And you know, a lot of people, it's very challenging for me to be here in San Francisco and to be like African American here operating and doing business. As you can see, it's not that many African Americans doing business. And people say that this place is multicultural and all this bullshit. You know, this place ain't multicultural. People, they don't give me a break. You know what I'm saying? I need to fucking perform way up here, right? that's fine. I've been out working, but I mean, it's just apparent now. I mean, it wasn't, when I got here, it wasn't like this, right? 20 years ago, it wasn't fucking like this, right? So I feel all these things, but I think you guys are gonna be all right, man. You know, like, I learned all this stuff already, and I can just share it with you whenever the hell you need it. But you know, you need to build your own network of use, right? You gotta build your own network. You gotta invest that time. I don't have a script on how you weed these people out because
There's no outline?
no, there's no outline. Well, the reason being is you gotta understand what your weaknesses are. You know, we different people, right? I present differently than you. He presents different, you know, people are attracted to me for one reason, they're attracted to you for one reason. You know, you're gonna get different people than I'm getting different, you know. Like I told a dude, I said, man, you need to go out and recruit the same type of people I was able to go out and recruit. See, but you know, you gotta sort of be me to recruit them type of people. Like, them fools was impressed with me at some point. Simple as that. A lot of, you know, some of them dudes, I went into their gym and just worked out. That's it. I just worked out. I didn't say nothing. I just worked out. And sat on the bench. They approached me. Said, hey, you know, I did this on purpose. Right? So I'm gonna do this crazy ass workout right here. You know, I'm gonna do this and
Flex.
yeah. No, I'm flexing. I'm just doing
Flex.
shit where dude was just like, this dude's a professional.
Yeah.
You know, and I need to know who he is. And I mean, we did it like that, you know, but I mean, somebody else, maybe they don't got that piece. Right? If you don't got that piece, how the hell are you gonna use that? So that's what I'm saying. You need to figure out whatever it is, you know, whatever the attraction is, and then whatever your spill is, whatever it is, you have an offer, you know, sitting down painting the picture. Like, I've spent quiet time with you, just sitting down talking about the future and about what all these things could be. You know, and both conversations totally different. Totally different. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
If I wish I would have recorded that shit. Cause you guys want different things. You want them different time, right? And your interaction with me, it's not, damn man, it's not cookie cutter, right? Yeah.
We were just having this talk the other day that it's crazy how we got together and it's just, it works. Like, I don't know how you...
I told you, I was like, because he was paying attention. I was like, he's paying attention, and he put us together because he knew we would work well together.
Yeah. You gotta pay attention, right? And it starts with, I know I talk a lot, but I actually listen too, right?
No, I told you, I was like, because he's paying attention.
Man. You
I
gotta
was like,
listen. I was like, these are my people. Let me see.
And we're special too.
I was like, okay. Yeah, well, obviously I see something, right? I'm about to like rip my drawers, man, trying to do all this right here, man. Like, man, I'm done with San Francisco. Like, done. Like, I'm out of here, you know, but I ain't done with y'all, you know? And I think you guys got something to offer to these people. I already gave them whatever I had to offer, right? And I gave them whatever I had to offer. Now it's your turn, right? And I think you can make a good living doing this. I think that we can keep the company going for at least another 15, 20 years, you know what I'm saying? You guys young, you know, I did this shit for 17 years straight. And I was smiling for at least 12 years. That, you know, the last 6 years was rough. No, but a lot of these things, I think that had to happen so I could tell you why that shit was rough, right? It happened. I'm like, shit, man, you know, some things I just wouldn't do again. I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't do it again, you know, just nope, wouldn't do it. But again, I know, and I'll share, like I've been sharing, so you can figure that out. But the investment in your fucking people, that shit's number one. It ain't even all this other shit, man. We worked in a place with all fake equipment inside of a building with no front door. I mean, you had to come through and find us, you know, and it was 6 of us. And we made $65,000 a month, you know, and we was only in business for like 4 or 5 months, right? Because I was able to recruit them type of dudes, you know, and they all came with their own little moniker. People fucking knew them, you know, which I was proud of that, right? So then all that was relationship. I was having those relationships with them prior to starting the business. So I knew who I could tap and be like, this dude right here trusts me. This dude right here trusts me. She trusts me. He trusts me. All right, let me make the phone call. And they said, we come and roll with you, right? So anybody that didn't do that, like they left that type of situation, people didn't follow them because they weren't investing in relationships and they thought that money was more important than a relationship. But the joke's on you. That's not the truth, you know? The relationship should come first because a relationship will bring the money. I firmly believe that, you know? Yeah, we could argue that shit all day. You know, like I believe it. Anyway, you got anything you want to add, Miss Boss, Lady Boss?
No.
No.
Yeah, I actually do. So I just feel like it's a blessing that I met you and working with Denise, because I actually left a gym to come over here, you know, and it didn't seem like great at first. You know, I didn't even know.
Dude, I think you shut that gym down too. Like literally. I think you literally shut that place down. You left and they shut down.
But in my gut feeling, I felt like this is the place for me, right? You didn't promise me anything. Just
Well, that dude was tripping on. He knew that she was making all. I'm like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, this dude making all money, act like that?
Yeah.
That don't make sense. Anyway, people be doing that. See,
Well,
the relationship though.
Yeah, like that.
I'm like, this dude teach 20 or 24 classes
A week.
a week. It's 20.
With
I didn't know. This is. He don't know. He don't know. You know what I'm saying? He don't know. I'm like, oh, hey, man. You know what I'm saying? I'd have been more like, man, we can't have this dude teaching all these classes. That's crazy. We need to spread this, you know.
Yeah.
But the dude, that's crazy. That's bad, man.
And I was crushed too. Like for 2 weeks, that was bothering me. And then I'm so happy where I'm at now. And I just
That's crazy, man. But people do that. That's you know, people do that, man. Where they feel like just the money is first. Man, like, man, hey, bro, if you was in here and it was cracking, you was teaching 24 classes, I'd name my kid after you. You know, just like, but I wouldn't, first of all, I wouldn't have you doing that.
Right.
Right? Because it puts me in a bad situation. That's kind of lazy. But flip side of it, you know, if that should happen, I need to understand, like, exactly what you're bringing to the table. And one thing I like to used to tell all the youngsters, I say, hey, man, I said, if you're really doing it and you're doing it like that, we can always renegotiate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you ain't doing it, but you need to get there first. Don't sit here and be popping your gums and, you know, talking about what you think you are. Just fucking show me.
Right.
All right, when you show me, then, hey, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna argue with you if it's fucking real, you know. But, man, don't tell me just because you got pecs, man. You know, there's a few other people got pecs too, man. Get up out of here. I don't want to hear that. You know, people be doing that too.
Yeah.
Man, people used to be running up on me and Neil saying all type of crazy shit. And we used to be laughing. Shout out somebody. Anyway, we better get up off here. All right, if you can like, subscribe, follow, do all that. We're about to get out of here. Join us for the next Tuesday morning talk. I don't know who we're gonna have on there, but we're gonna figure it out. This one went kind of long because we got 2 people. See you later. Deuces.